Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at a duster, well, more of a vacuum, actually, no it's not a vacuum, it's a blower, from itdusters.com. This is the Compu Cleaner C502. Is it any good? Let's find out. Okay, so in today's video we're very pleased to say that Bob has sent me a blower, so thanks Bob, nice one. So Bob wanted a duster for his computing habits and thought he'd send it to me first of all to check out. Now actually I'm really glad. I've seen these on the market and I've seen other YouTubers using them, and I've got to be honest with you, I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. For me, when I'm cleaning a PC, really I love to use a vacuum because obviously indoors, if you're blowing dust everywhere, you don't want it to go everywhere onto other things. You basically want to have it condensed into a certain area which you can dispose of later. But in some instances, a vacuum just doesn't get the job done. So you do need that little bit of extra grunt to blow away all those cobwebs and other kind of things which get accumulated in your PC. One of the things which is really difficult to clean in a PC are things like fans, fan grills, all that kind of stuff. And with a vacuum, yeah, it can be a bit of a pain. So I'm actually really looking forward to trying this out. I have actually plugged this in and give it a quick try, and it says on there it is 500 watts, and yeah, I pretty much believe them. It does give out a hell of a lot of airflow. But is it actually going to be any good in reality to use on a PC for cleaning? Which is what we'll try and find out later as we clean Kath's PC, which is, I've got to say, is absolutely hideous. We do have children, we do have cats, and we have laminate flooring. The combination of that and the massive fans on the GameX F15 is essentially like a vacuum, so we should get a fair bit of dust out of that thing a little bit later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. But first of all, let's take a look at the packaging and we'll go through what we actually get inside and have a look at the product itself. So as you can see, first of all, this is the Compu Cleaner from itdusters.com. They haven't sponsored us or anything, this has been sent in from Bob, so I'm free to say exactly what I like. So it says on the front, 500 watts, it is mains powered, C502 is the model number, etc. Yeah, you get the general idea. It's an air duster. On the back it goes into a little bit more detail, so it says about professional cleaning power, the fact it has consistent high pressure, which is a good thing, because if you're like me and you've used those compressed air cans before, they're okay, but generally after a little while they kind of lose their power, or they get kind of really icy on the outside, whereas the propellant freezes, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, none of that with this. It's lightweight and robust, which is always a good thing. It's got some precision attachments, it's environmentally friendly, and it's got a 1 year's manufacturer's warranty. I'm not too sure how it would be environmentally friendly. I don't get, well, I suppose because you're not using a gas canister which has propellants in, which are obviously bad for the environment, so yeah, but this is still using electricity and it's blowing dust everywhere, so yeah, it may not be environmentally friendly as in terms of gases, but for blowing dust around and actually using electricity, yeah, that's kind of a moot point. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's see what we actually get inside the kit. So first of all, there is our accessories pack, which we'll take a look at shortly. We've got the actual Compu Cleaner itself. This is the C502. And what else do we have in here? We also have a instruction manual on the back. Keep it clean, or keep IT clean. And as you can see, this is the 502. Multilingual instructions, pretty much straightforward, but gives you an idea of what all the individual pieces are, etc, etc. So I suppose we should take a look at the actual unit itself. So actually pretty decent, nice, decent plastics, and you've got the Compu Cleaner logo there, high pressure outputs, you've got a clicky button on the top. So this is what they call a momentary switch, so it doesn't lock in the on position, and really there is a reason behind that, is because people using these kind of things, they actually do get really hot because it compresses the air, there's a motor in there, etc, etc. So if you actually press the button and hold it for a longer period, you actually notice the air getting quite warm, and the actual unit itself will get very warm as well. A 500 watt motor in something as small as this is going to get hot, so this isn't something you can leave on continuously. It is designed for kind of burst cleaning, so do bear that in mind. Also on the bottom there are some foam feet as well, so you can put it on the desk and it will remain relatively stable. And there is actually a replaceable air filter, so this is for the incoming air, and this is just one of those sponge things, so you just pull it out of the bottom, you can clean it out, give it a tap, whatever. There is actually a spare one of these included in the kit as well, so if it does get particularly manky, I think is one of the words we like to use around here, then you can put it maybe under the tap and let it dry out before you use it again. This is very important. This is an electrical item. Don't get it near water, don't let water get inside it, etc, etc. So if you're cleaning the gauze in the bottom there, if you're using water to keep it a little bit cleaner, then do make sure it is 100% dry before you put it back in the machine. And talking electricity, obviously it comes with a 13 amp plug. Now depending where you're living in the world, you may get a slightly different plug obviously, and you do get this nice braided cable, which actually reminds me a lot of an iron. I think I remember seeing an iron many years ago, and I'm pretty sure they had cables very, very similar to this. So this is obviously indicative of a high wattage or high voltage cable. The cable itself is about 3 meters long, so 2.5, 3 meters long, so I've got a reasonable amount of flex before you actually have to maybe dig out the extension leads, etc. Again, this is going to come down to where you're actually using it. If you're using it in the home, it should be fine, because you probably find you've got a power plug somewhere within about 2 meters or so where you're working. If, like me, when you're using this, you're potentially going to be using this outdoors, because if you're maybe cleaning other people's PCs and you don't want all their skin bits and nasty stuff all around your own home, the chances are you're going to be using this outside. So that is one thing to bear in mind. You will need possibly an extension lead to get some power to this thing whilst outside, which is a little bit of a limitation, but yeah, you do get much increased power, and it's obviously going to be better than a gas canister. So let's take a look and see what we get in the accessories. So there's a selection of attachments. Now they all work in the same way, so they're all on this kind of toggle fitting. So there's 2 little nodules on there, which you put it on, twist it, and that kind of holds it in place. So there is, let's say, the 4 attachments, and also the spare filter gauze. So there's one inside there, there's one here as well. So let's go through what we get. So there is like a fan type nozzle. So that is going to give you a wide dispersal. That'll be quite good for cleaning off larger areas, just blowing off. It's not going to be that high a pressure, because it's going to fan out a little bit, but certainly that will be useful for some particular uses. There is the nozzle attachment with the brushes on the end, so the bristles. Those, I would hope, are going to be anti-static bristles. Whether they are or not, it doesn't actually say in the manual, but I would assume they are. So this is going to be great for those more ingrained areas. Certainly things like graphics card fans, maybe PSU fans, that sort of stuff. That's going to be great, because you can actually use the air coming through and also agitate it a little bit as well with those bristles. So very, very cool. This is your standard kind of funnel nozzle, which is going to give you a medium kind of concentration of air. And then last of all, you've got the fine one, which is going to give you a very, very high pressure section because of the size of the nozzle. So obviously compressed air is going through there, and it's being compressed even further through that nozzle to give you a really, really increased airflow. So that is going to be the most powerful one. Then it's going to be something like this one, and then you're going to be looking at something like the fan for those kind of wider areas. So that is essentially it for what we get in the box, and my expectations hopefully now will be realised. So we're going to disconnect Kath's PC, take it outside in the back garden, and get you some cool footage of their PC being cleaned. Okay, so there we go. You've seen Kath's PC get the ITDuster treatment, and actually, I'll be completely honest. Yeah, I am blown away by this particular unit. It is actually really, really good. I wasn't expecting it to be as much fun as it was. Actually, it was really good fun. Cleaning shouldn't be one of those tasks that you have to do, or it's kind of like, oh god, here we go. And this was actually really good fun. It blew the dust and dirt and grime everywhere. To be honest, if I was cleaning that PC, which would normally have taken me probably about an hour or so, if I'd have taken it all apart and actually got the vacuum on it and cleaned all the bits individually and maybe took the filters, put them in the sink, give them the wash off, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it would have probably taken me an hour at least, and it would have been a little bit more mucky and messy. Whereas this actually was very, very quick. We went over, even though the fact we were filming it for your enjoyment, it still didn't take us very long to film at all. It does blast through the grime pretty well, and as you've probably seen from some of the footage, and hopefully it's come out alright, because we did film it on our little Pocket 2 camera, so yeah, it might not be totally in focus, but you get the general idea. It really does power through it, and this thing actually does produce a hell of a blast. It really does. Downsides, I would say, is the cable could have done with being a little bit longer. Now, where I was using it outside, there was a socket relatively near. We did use an extension lead to give it a little bit more length, and it was absolutely fine. I would have liked to have seen it with a longer cable, maybe a 5-meter cable as standard, although some of you may be feeling that is a little bit too long and going to get everywhere if you're using it more inside the home. But certainly outside, if you're using it with an extension, it's absolutely fine. It does get very warm. That was one thing I did notice. It did get very hot very quickly, which I wasn't expecting. So it does get very hot. And I would possibly suggest wearing ear defenders. It is extremely loud. I'm not going to turn it on camera because it will probably destroy the microphones, and the noise limiter will kick in on the camera, so you won't actually hear it. But that is the two things I would say are the big takeaways of this. Be wary of the noise. Even outside it was very loud. Hopefully it's come across on the camera when we filmed it. You might get the idea of how loud it is, but yes, it is extremely loud. So using it indoors, definitely wear ear defenders. And actually, because of the ferocity of the blast, might even actually be worth wearing some goggles as well, just in case anything kind of flicks back or goes towards your face and your eyes, etc., that kind of stuff. And maybe even wear a mask if you want to, if it's a particularly dusty environment. I probably wouldn't want to use it indoors. I think if you used it indoors, a vacuum is a much better alternative, and obviously it contains the dust a lot easier. But for sheer power and for quickly cleaning a PC, yeah, this is awesome. Price-wise, at the moment, you're looking in the UK for around about £49. I'll put some links in the video description so you can check out for yourself. And if you want to pick one up, those links are affiliated, so we do get a small kickback for the channel, so we do appreciate you using our links. But yeah, price-wise, £50, I don't know. You can buy 6 cans of the compressed air for around about £13. So depending on how much use you're going to get out of it, that is going to be the deciding factor. If you're someone who repairs PCs on a regular basis, or you've got lots of PCs in the house which get dusty quite often, then over time certainly this will save you money, and obviously you're not putting all those horrible kind of CFCs and propellants into the atmosphere from those cans. So yeah, environmentally, yes, it certainly is a little bit more friendly. Cost-wise, it is going to cost you a little bit more, but ultimately it is a heck of a lot of fun. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments section below. In the meantime, I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.